Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Noelle and I do unboxings, mostly lifestyle subscription boxes, but also some stationery, books, beauty, jewelry, travel, home decor, and even a dash of Disney. So if you enjoy unboxings, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell. And as always, if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for being here and welcome back. Today I have one of my favorite book subscriptions that's out there right now. It's called Authentic Books. I love it for many reasons, but one is that it is so customizable. Each month you get to choose between two highly anticipated novels. Often they are recent releases. She gets us hardcovers. Sometimes she gets them signed by the author, which I think is so cool to add signed copies to your personal library. And there are 3 different subscription tiers depending on your budget. So there is the mini box, which is $39 plus $8.99 in shipping. And that includes, of course, the book that you have selected, as well as a bookmark, a Spotify playlist, a candle that's themed to go along with the book, and a self-care item. Then they also have the full box, which has everything that's in the mini box, and this is $49 plus shipping, but it also includes a premium tea or a cocktail mixer, as well as an additional self-care item, so for a total of 2 self-care items in there. And then finally there is the premium box, which is $59 plus shipping, and that is what I highly suggest if you are able. It includes everything that is in the full box, as well as some gourmet chocolate and a 3rd self-care item. If you're interested in subscribing, you can use Noelle10 and that will save you 10%. This box has been kindly sent to me for review by Natisha, and I'm always so thrilled. Getting to choose my book at the beginning of the month is always one of my favorite emails to receive. So, and the book this month that I selected, I'm really excited to dive into. Even though my TBR pile is crazy right now, this might make it to the top of the list. So, opening it up, on the inside we just have that bookmark. I can see our little card that has our Spotify playlist. So usually there is a quote from the book on the bookmark. Let's take a look. Always a lovely silky tassel. I have all of my tasseled bookmarks hanging out of my little section of my shelf. That's all my authentic books that I have collected over the past few months. So it says, now this isn't, maybe it's a quote that's actually in the book. So it's, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." And of course that is from Tennyson. So, and then it just has Authentic Books on the other side, which I think is a nice little touch, so you kind of remember where you got the book from. Then, like I said, we do have our playlist, so it's just a little QR code that you can kind of take a picture of in Spotify, so you can have that sort of ambiance going on. I generally can't listen to a lot of music, especially if there's lyrics when I'm reading, but I do think that's a nice touch. And it is because the way that she curates these boxes is so that it touches upon all of the senses. So obviously that is for the sense of hearing, and then the candle is for the sense of smell, for example. The book itself is the sense of sight. And then inside of this nice little pamphlet, and you can see right there on the cover what I have selected, and that is the Maidens. So it is inside, you can see this is kind of a different format. She's changed it up a little bit so we can kind of see everything. And it looks like she has made a kind of a key. So in the lavender boxes, it's everything that's in the mini experience, the full experience, and the premium experience. So all of the lavender things come in all of the boxes. And then the full experience also includes these 2 blue boxes. And then obviously the premium experience includes every color, all of the boxes. So that is kind of an easier way. And then at the top of each of those sections, it tells you which sense it is supposed to be speaking to. It also tells you with a little circle if it's in the full box or the premium box. So that's kind of a nice like visual way of organizing them. So I do like that little update. It does also tell us that on the back there is 5% of your membership will be donated to the Adopt a Classroom Foundation, supporting children's education and their educators. So there is a give back going on with this box, which I appreciate, and I think she changes up the organization like once a quarter. So let me go ahead and keep this open. Now inside of there was also a little insert that has a book cocktail, which is usually using that cocktail mixer or syrup if that is what you selected instead of the tea. And again, that is in the full and premium boxes. And then on the other side, there's always a story eats, which is always a recipe that goes along with the book. And that's just like something that comes, I think, in all of the boxes, which I think is really cool. So the story eats, ooh, it's inspired by the Maidens. It's roast lamb. I've never roasted a lamb myself. I'm not opposed to eating it, but it is definitely something that seems a little bit more ambitious than my cooking ability, but the cocktail, you guys, sounds really good. Kind of summery too. And then there's a new insert in here that says shop your box, which is kind of cool. This is like little promo codes from the individual vendors, which I think is a nice thing to support the small businesses that do contribute to the box. And then we also have a little like kind of bio about one of the contributors, the tea creator. Now, I usually choose the cocktail mixer just because I have an abundance of tea, which many of you know from other subscription boxes. So this is what it looks like. It says packed with love, and she does have like a whole team that helps her get these boxes out because they have become very popular. They have grown quite a bit, I believe, since she started out. But I just think it's so impressive that not only has she created these relationships with these publishers to get us these books when they get first released, but also that she curates basically 2 whole boxes every single month, which again, this is so impressive, and it kind of makes sense why sometimes the boxes kind of come a little bit later. This is technically the June box, but I don't mind because I do have so many other books that I need to get through before I indulge in this one. So sometimes the items are actually associated with a certain page, and sometimes like the items are kind of like representative of the entire book. So that is fun if you like to do that, if you like to wait until you get to a certain point in the book, or you just kind of want to know where the inspiration for that item came from. She does have the page numbers on things, but for example, with the cocktail mixer and or tea option, there isn't a page number in this particular occasion, although those would be like, of course, on different pages probably. So right on top, like a little oasis in the middle of this black shred, I have got our candle, and it looks like Authentic Books is now doing their own in-house candles, which I think is kind of cool, speaking of like being able to do everything for the box. So I'll go ahead and pull that out so I can make some space in the rest of it. So nice packaging as always. And again, the candle is for the sense of smell, and it is something that appears even in the mini boxes. So it says an Authentic Books original Greek tragedy is what they've decided to call it. So it does kind of have that dark label going on. Gives you the scent of black currant and amber, a sophisticated scent of Cambridge. Look closely and you will see the tail of Persephone on the label and a pine cone on the top. Pretty cool. Nice little like nods. I'll love that. So let's open it up, and she has put, always love the decoration. So that is really cool. She got a little pine cone there and these little stones, which of course, once you light the candle, they tend to sink to the bottom, but it is just kind of a pretty thing, a little decoration of your candle. Let's give it a sniff. Ooh, that smells good. I was kind of thinking it would be a little like more musky with the amber, although I do love the scent of amber. But wow, that black currant is really nice. I love that like deep kind of berry scent going on there. So awesome. Let me go ahead and move some of this shred. There is a ton of it out of the way. Then everything is usually packed really, really well. So the next thing, we have got our little bubble mailer, which is usually what our cocktail ingredient comes in, just for protection. But they do a really good job of making sure this box is packed super tight so you don't get a lot of jostling. And usually that's really important to me because I like to take my photos for over on Instagram. So I'm always like bummed by bent corners or dented cans, even though the contents are just fine. So this is from Portland Syrups, and we've received some of their syrups before. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. It's Marion Berry, which sounds delicious. Like you could do a virgin cocktail, or you could make a nice summery one. So it says Marion Berry has a sweet yet bold taste, perfectly paired with this delicious thriller. So let's go ahead and take a look at our book cocktail. It's a Marion Berry spritzer. So you use the syrup, some vodka, some lemon juice, sparkling water, and then edible flowers for garnish. They put some like rosemary in there. That sounds really, really good. And that's not just because I'm partial to like vodka. I think that would be so refreshing with the lemon and berry in there. So cool. All right, next we have got, looks like a handmade soap, and the little seal that she puts on top of all of the books got caught up in this tissue paper. So let's see what this is. So yes, definitely some soap, but it just came in this tissue. I'm not going to unwrap it quite yet, but you will see it over on my Instagram page. This is by Unearth Maley, Himalayan pink salt, known for its antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties, and certified organic rose powder adds a sweet floral scent. This is a great bar for all rose lovers and more suitable for normal to oily skin types. Now, you guys know I am not a fan of rose, but that is okay. Actually, the tissue paper was just protecting the wrapping, so I will go ahead and pull that out out so you can see it. Honeysuckle rice milk handmade soap. Cool. So it's got like handmade paper on there as the wrapper as well. So this, of course, is the second touch item, or the second self-care item that would appear in the full and premium boxes. It's not super rosy, honestly. Like sometimes it's just those like really artificial rose scents that kind of get to me, but that just smells like a nice natural soap bar. All right, next we have from Poetry of Flowers, Persephone's Flower Bathing. It's got sandalwood, rose, and magnolia. It's botanical bath tea, salts, herbs, and blooms, but it is really pretty. Now you guys know I'm not a bath girl, so I don't really use these. I kind of wish there was like a no bathtub option with this box so that we would get more shower steamers or lotions or any of those other like self-care items, just because bath bombs and bath salts aren't something that I generally use, even though yes, I know you can use them for a very nice foot soak. And yes, I hand these over to my friends, my family, and some of you guys who do love your bath time. So this is the premium box, third touch or third self-care item. And it says, inspired by the goddess Persephone, this intoxicating silk is lovingly witchcrafted with sandalwood, pure Bulgarian rose, and magnolia-soaked Himalayan pink bath salts, combined with nourishing plant oils and dried herbs and flowers. And this is to go along with page 42. The soap went along with page 6, so you can use that nice and early on. Here is, ooh, this looks new. So this is a new chocolate brand to me. It's Ritual Chocolate Pine Nut Chocolate. This one is ground pine nuts and dark chocolate. It is 55% cacao, so nice dark chocolate. Beautiful packaging. She always finds the prettiest packages. This is associated, ooh, not until page 170. The chocolate doesn't usually make it to me reading the book, and that is because I like to share. So this is only in the premium boxes. Inspired by the mountains, we have added ground pine nuts to our dark chocolate blend to create a soft, smooth, and deliciously nutty bar. I like nuts in chocolate personally, except for walnuts, because I just don't like walnuts, but let me know if you do too. I think that sounds really good. You don't see pine nuts in chocolate very often, so those kind of interesting flavor combinations are always neat to me. And then this is the touch or self-care item that was in all of the boxes, including the mini box. And usually that self-care item is kind of one of the lesser valued ones. You know, like a sheet mask, for example, is often the choice, and that is the case with this one, which is, I do love this line of sheet masks though. I like the simple packaging. This is the Red Wine Face Sheet Mask by Lapco. This is not associated with this. You don't get to use until page 201 if you are following those rules. The Red Wine Pulp Cellulose Sheet Mask features wine extract to help boost skin's elasticity and restore collagen and hydration. The revitalizing mask tightens and firms sagging skin for a smooth, firm complexion. So you don't have to wait to get a glass of wine though until page 201, but then I guess this could be a nice like way to unwind at the end of your day. So and a nice thing to kind of look forward to towards the end or the middle of the book if you're someone who kind of needs that encouragement sometimes. So that was all of our items. We got our sheet mask, our handmade soap, and our botanical bath tea as our self-care items. We got our soy candle, then there was the cocktail mixer. If you had chosen the tea, you would have gotten one called Love Potion. And then finally in the premium boxes, we got our pine nut chocolate. So here is our book, and of course it is a hardcover, and I'm just gonna pop that little seal right back on there. Sometimes I do that, but I do sometimes take them off because then the books actually slide in better onto the bookshelf. So I'm not sure how to pronounce this author's last name, Alex Michaelides. I'm not really sure. So the New York Times bestselling author of The Silent Patient, but doesn't that just look like mysterious? Like when I read the description, I know a lot of people had already heard about this book and were really waiting to have it released, but I hadn't heard anything about it. So I really enjoy book boxes for keeping me up on the like book world these days. So let's open it up. So we do have this nice book plate, so it is signed. That's quite the author's signature, very like stylized in there. So let's see, it says, a spellbinding tale of psychological suspense weaving together Greek mythology, murder, and obsession. Edward Fosca is a murderer. Of this, Mariana is certain, but Fosca is untouchable. A handsome and charismatic Greek tragedy professor at Cambridge University, Fosca is adored by staff and students alike, particularly by the members of his secret society of female students known as the Maidens. Mariana Andros is a brilliant but troubled group therapist who becomes fixated on the Maidens when one member, a friend of Mariana's niece Zoe, is found murdered in Cambridge. Mariana, who was once herself a student at the university, quickly suspects that behind the idyllic beauty of the spires and turrets and beneath the ancient traditions lies something sinister. As she becomes convinced that despite his alibi, Edward Fosca is guilty of the murder. But why would the professor target one of his students? And why does he keep returning to the rites of Persephone, the maiden, and her journey to the underworld? When another body is found, Mariana's obsession with proving Fosca's guilt spirals out of control, threatening to destroy her credibility as well as her closest relationships. But Mariana is determined to stop this killer, even if it costs her everything, including her own life. So, love a little mystery. That sounds pretty fun. And then of course, when you interweave it with some like Greek tragedy and secret societies at a top university, definitely sounds like it could have a cinematic reality eventually as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see how many like pages it is. It's a little over 300 pages, but it just sounds intriguing to me. Sometimes we get an author's note. I'm not actually seeing one this time around, but like I said, having that signed little book plate in there is really, really cool. And sometimes I discover things in the box that I didn't notice when I first opened it on camera. And I will definitely let you know if I do make any extra discoveries. But let me know if you have had an opportunity to read this book or anything else by this author and what you thought about this assortment of items. So far, I think it's going to be really good. Of course, I always love the candle. I always love a good sheet mask. A little bit bummed about the bath tea, which I won't necessarily be able to use, but I know a lot of people will definitely appreciate it. The chocolate, as always, is probably one of my favorite items, as well as the cocktail syrup or the cocktail mixer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you appreciate it, please do give it a thumbs up. It would really help me out. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. That also helps me out quite a bit, as well as following me over on Instagram. And hopefully I see you all very, very soon in my next unboxing.